Let's roll an intro. What's good? Welcome to episode 3 of the 888 podcast. I'm here with my a friend David from Kansas. How you doing, bud?
Doing great. How are you?
Dude, I am living life. We got some questions lined up. I think the first one I want to dive into, as we were talking before, right now you're enrolled in a 4-year university and living out of state, right, from your parents. So that's kind of an interesting aspect. I don't know a lot of people who are doing that. I know my neighbor is, but we don't talk, so I don't really know him. But you're on podcast. Tell me what it's like to be so far from home during this pandemic.
Well, at the beginning, right when it was starting, it was March, and school got out, and I was still in economics class, and I was kind of had a weird teacher, like he'd freak out if you pulled your phone out. And so they called class, and when they called class, they were like, immediately get out of class. And all these people were running out of class. He's like, man, my professor goes, man, they sound really happy. They must have gotten out of accounting class. And everyone laughs. But then the real thing is, we were supposed to get out, but he didn't know that. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to teach you guys the last thing before you guys learn nothing. And so we finished the class period, and then we leave and we look at the email and we're all like, whoa, we were supposed to be out long ago. So for a while, I was just hanging out. I was like, I'm not going to rush back yet. I don't even know if I had online classes at that point yet. And so I'm just chilling out. I'm starting to get ready to leave, packing up a little bit. My dad keeps on calling me. He's like, man, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? And I was at my buddy John's house, and I was about to eat some dinner, and he calls me up and he goes, when are you coming home? And I was like, why does it matter? Like, I'm coming home on Monday, I think. He's like, get home sooner. I don't want you to get sick. And I was like, what? And I keep in mind my dad's a doctor, so like he kind of knew more information than the general public, and not only that, he's got education to back it. So it was like weird to see him like that, given his knowledge. And so then I went home, got around the house. Our house was getting renovated actually right when the restaurants closed down. Our kitchen was taped off like with saran wrap, basically saran wrap, like this plastic drape, because we were getting our house redone to sell it. And actually we ended up selling it crazy fast. On the first day it was on the market above asking price during coronavirus, because it was insane, just insane. So I'm at home for like a week, and then I go to the lake house for the next I don't know, like a month. There was the first 4 days though, I literally did not set foot outside once, which was weird. So I was at the lake house. My dad and mom were still in the city, just hanging out. And they would come up occasionally, but like for the most part, just hanging out at the lake house and doing school. It was just a lot of inside time. And honestly, the worst part about quarantine was not being able to work out. So like I would just do like push-ups and stuff, but like that's not like going to a real gym. It sucked. So then after that, I came home. We had to move because we sold our house. So I come home, we start moving, and we move into an apartment while our new house is being finished. And then so summer goes by. It's a pretty normal summer for me, honestly. I hang out with my buddies a decent amount. Like I don't hang out with a ton of people, but the same 4 guys, pretty much, the 4 of us. And so we just hang out all summer. We're having good times, and it's a somewhat normal summer, but I didn't really go on vacation. And then I went and worked at a youth camp, and that was weird because I was there for 2 weeks. Supposed to be there for 6 weeks, but I was there for 2. Then coronavirus came through, got sent home for 2, and then came back for 2 more. And then after that, I pretty much right after, I started moving some more, and then moved into my house at school. And then I've just been here, and it's been fine. I mean, I kind of sit in this chair all day at this desk all day on a computer, except for when I go to the gym. Sometimes it's the only time I go outside is to go to the gym. So it's kind of rough, but we're living it. But yeah.
Why don't you just go outside?
Why don't I go outside?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a right out there. There's literally a door in my room. There's actually 2 doors. Kind of see one like right there. That's a door, and there's a patio on that side, and there's a patio over here, both with tables and chairs. But I don't know. There's bugs out there, man. I don't feel like going out there. There's a bunch of stink bugs that keep on trying to crawl in through the window. It's kind of
Wake
nasty.
up smoking cigars.
I don't think anyone in my house
And,
smokes, sadly.
well,
So
you do it. My dad does it by himself, and he spends so much time outside. It's wild.
yeah, but I don't want to lose the lung function.
No, you
But
just
yeah,
you don't inhale cigars. If you do, you die. It's like crazy.
oh yeah,
Uh,
that's right. It's a ton of nicotine. I thought. But I've been tested 3 times, quarantined like 4 or 5 times, never caught the coronavirus to my knowledge. So it's a crazy time. But one of my buddies in Pittsburgh caught it because Pittsburgh, Kansas got really bad because he goes to Pittsburgh State. So
mhm.
yeah, it's been interesting though.
All right. So you kind of talked about it. Do you talk to your parents a lot right now? Like,
I send my
you
mom
talk
a
to them more
ton
than
of
you
Walmart.
did before COVID?
Not really. I talked to my dad about like stocks and stuff because I'm getting into it's going to one of my hobbies and I'm getting into it and I'm asking him about stuff like that and also talking about my dad and I are planning on doing something called a supercar rally where you go and drive a fancy car basically on a road trip. And so he was saying he wants to do one. And I was like, all right. So I talked to him about that stuff, but I don't really talk to my mom that much. I send her a picture of my Walmart receipt um, every time I go to Walmart so she knows what I'm spending money on. That's about it.
Okay. Um, all right. So it was last night, Trump and Biden, the big debate.
The
How do you
big
think
one.
it went?
It's kind of, I thought it was going to be funnier. It was a lot of arguing, which was annoying to me. It sounded like couples arguing, like
Right.
a
I
married
thought it
couple.
was going to be funnier too. I genuinely was like, I I just wanted them to be quiet. Like I hated the moderator at the same
Oh, yeah.
time because the moderator he was just so weak. He couldn't command respect. Like, and it's like that's because Trump doesn't respect the fucking media, right?
Well, not only that, the moderator was super biased and it was very obvious. And like,
Like he would
that
laugh at
was probably the worst thing for me. Like, I expect a moderator in a debate to be the middleman. You're not supposed to be the biased moderator, then you're not a moderator. And at one point, Trump goes, "Now, who am I debating, Biden or the moderator?" And he's like, "Well, it doesn't matter. I can take both." It was funny, but yeah, it was like apparently his peers were angry at him over that because it was a very poor performance.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
But
He was
yeah,
laughing. What is it? Trump was just throwing shit every set. Like when Biden opened his mouth, Trump would open his mouth. This at the
that
same
was
time.
annoying.
Like they, like
That was annoying.
it would just. And I don't know. It's like, why do you think this happened? Why? Because there's got to be a reason. Like, is it just because he wanted to behave like a child this time, or do you think he just didn't want to let Biden talk?
Well, I mean, honestly, he should have let Biden talk because a lot of stuff Biden said contradicted his platform, and he said some stuff that was just straight up false. And it was like, let him talk, and he'll make a fool out of himself. I'm always, if I'm trying to sound smart, I don't talk. I
Well,
talk as little as possible.
Biden made a statement that I think you'll probably like. He actually like disavowed the Green New Deal
Oh
and
yeah,
said he was
that
going
was
to make
crazy.
his own deal. He
Yeah,
said
he was
the
like,
Biden deal.
and then the moderator starts explaining what the Green New Deal is to Biden, and I was like, "What are you doing, moderator man? Like, are you going to feed Trump any of his policies too?" But and then like with the cops, because he was saying defund the police, he was like, "No, the police are great. I don't defund them." And I was like, what are you saying, man? That's not what your base wants." So like he's got to pick a side. He's really just saying whatever's like non-confrontational, and you're in a debate and you have to
What
hold your ground.
he is. I think what you're saying is a lot of his opinions, because they were like contradictory to his base. I think he was trying to appeal to Republicans and moderates. Like I think he was saying, and like the rich people. Like he was like,
Hmm.
because it's like I think it's in the Green New Deal where they like tax 70% after like the first million that you make. Your tax bracket increases or 70%. Yeah, after the first
Wow,
million. So for every million you make after that million, you only make 300,000 per year
that's that's a load of
if you make a million per year.
that's not good. Well, I mean, the tax the rich thing doesn't really work anyway. There's not enough rich people. It's just like if you want to increase taxes, just increase them all by 1% or 2. And honestly, inflation is a tax that the government has that everyone has to pay. It doesn't matter if you're dealing drugs or if you're, you know, dealing with stocks where its taxes are like pretty much automatic. Like you get taxed by inflation. So if they really want to tax you, just jack up the price of money or jack up the printing of money and it'll devalue all the money you have, you know? Because that's why if you're investing, you have to at least make 2% or you lose money. That's why a lot of savings accounts lose money because your money's just sitting there and it's losing 2% of its purchasing power every year on average. Because interest rates are like what, 0.5%? Like that's a joke.
That
But
is
yeah,
a joke. Like your money is just constantly losing value. I've seen a lot of people say that on YouTube. That
dude, YouTube is a cesspool for investing information.
yeah. I mean, some people like it, I mean, it's entertaining. The guy I watch, at least.
What do you
That's
watch?
kind of why I watch him. Bro, I can't do promo. I'm not paid by anybody.
Okay, well,
Yeah, we
I
got.
happen to know a thing or two about investing. My buddy gave me this book, Private Equity. It's probably backwards, but I'm reading about private equity. It's an investment strategy for particularly super rich people. And so I'm trying to figure out how it works. Maybe try to break into it as a first job.
How much does
But
the book cost?
I got it for free because I borrowed it from my buddy.
Got it for free. Okay.
But
What do you
it's a
think?
great book.
What do you think?
Um,
Is it like a textbook or is it like
it's a textbook, but doesn't read like one.
doesn't read like?
Um, it's called Mastering Private Equity by the name on the spine is Wiley. Um, but yeah, it's great so far. I'm probably like what 20 pages into it and the preface, but it's really interesting about just different investment vehicles that they're not out there for the normal people. Anyone can hop on Robinhood or Thinkorswim and buy stocks, but this is like buying into not like companies that are like startups that haven't gone public yet or taking a public company private, stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know a ton about it to talk about it in length yet, but hopefully after I read that book, I'll know. But yeah, the point of that is to beat the
Like
market.
sounds like you want to talk about the economy. So let's talk economy.
Okay.
Um, the U.S. Mexico transnational, whatever the fuck it is, right? What's it called?
NAFTA. NAFTA.
Not NAFTA, the new one.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, not like that. It's a new like land border trading deal that the U.S. made with Canada and Mexico.
With Canada or with Mexico?
Like both.
Yeah, that was basically what NAFTA was, I thought.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's that meme of Trump saying NAFTA was the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals. I
right.
know it's not NAFTA, but I'm not sure. We don't really go over international stuff in
Yeah.
economics that I'm in, at least. I'm in macro and micro right now. Um,
All right. So do they talk about how it is like right now?
what we do talk about is the U.S. is running a huge trade deficit, like with China in particular. And like, for
How
instance,
so?
the thing about a trade deficit is that when you're running a trade deficit, you're making your money gets less valuable and the money that so like let's say we're trading with Japan and Japan's importing tons of Toyotas but they're not buying tons of American-made products, Japan's currency is actually going up in value in relation to the dollar. And so, like with China, our currency should be going down in value in relation to the Chinese, whatever it is. And so the Chinese, what they're doing is I'm assuming they're printing money, but they're valuing their currency by, they're devaluing their currency by just printing tons of money, one would assume, just to make sure that manufacturing stays cheap because they want to keep all the factories and whatnot in China because, that's like a huge economic driver. So it's international trade world is pretty crazy in my opinion.
So talk about that. So what do you think about
You
Trump
want me to talk about that?
like so hostile towards China and like declaring these things? Like what because the US doesn't really have a culture of production really.
Yeah,
Like
we just consume.
really
We,
that's really our culture, and I would disagree with anybody who says that that's a bad thing
consuming is a bad thing.
or a culture of consumption is.
It depends on what you're consuming, but
I
yeah.
think it's evidence of I think it's evidence that we have kind of what is it climbed Maslow's hierarchy of needs in terms of our society.
Yeah, I
Like
mean we
right now
have.
we're at the part where our society is self-gratifying almost for a lot of people.
I mean, you got some people that literally like our
This
society is to the point where like there's such huge industries that are devoted just to entertainment. You can go
right.
on YouTube and literally for the entirety, I'm pretty sure as long as the universe has existed, you could watch a YouTube video and not run out of content. That is how much YouTube content there is. And there's people on YouTube that have so much money that they're buying Bugattis right now. Like that is insane to me. And like the show, like to be in a place where the world is so far along that you can make videos just for little kids to watch, and off of the advertisements and sponsorships you can make so much money that you have a Lamborghini or you have like McLaren P1 or something like that is insane because
All right.
it's just like all you're doing is entertaining, and that's not even Hollywood.
So what would you argue is the most valuable thing?
Overall,
We'll say the most valuable noun.
most valuable noun. I was gonna say happiness, but that's not a noun. But I mean, I don't know, family probably. You can't buy family. I mean, you can adopt people, but that's not.
That's the most valuable, like the most in all facets of life, like the most useful, the most fulfilling, the most like
Family and friends, dude.
you would
I
say,
mean,
all right, I was thinking entertainment, but you took it a whole different direction. All right, we'll say what's the most valuable industry?
I mean, the farming
You're right
industry
about
feeds
the
us.
family thing, huh?
What's up?
You're right about the family thing, so I want to clarify that. Um,
Thank
but
you.
yeah,
Well,
what's
the farming industry
the farming industry?
feeds us. Without it, we're nothing. Like, do you see the amount of overweight people that we have? Like way back when it used to be a status symbol to be overweight, and like now America is like what, a third or two-thirds overweight, and like it's literally killing people because we have too much food. That is another thing on that hierarchy of needs that is just insane about our culture. Like our culture can maintain that everyone gets a relatively new car, has new stuff, new houses, is
Everybody
eating
who
way too
gets
much food. What's up?
everybody who gets a car has a relatively new car.
This is true. I mean, you don't see super old cars rolling around unless they're like classics. And like, I mean, there's countries like I've been to like Nicaragua and Costa Rica, and like a lot of the stuff they're driving there is like it's like a rarity to see a new car. Or I went to Brazil once and I was in Rio, which is a huge city. And I was like, wow, the new Mercedes, like that's not a common thing. And this was in a nice part of Rio too. It's like the high rent district. It was like like compare Rio, like the biggest city in Brazil, which is a huge country, to anywhere in America, and it's like significantly less. Still nice, beautiful, but like they don't have brand new cars. There's not people walking around with Louis Vuitton bags. It's crazy.
Yeah, but each culture kind of has its own kind of clout brands.
Hmm.
I know that there's different ones. Like
It's
in
true.
Singapore, they've got some specific brands that are priced the exact same as Gucci, and they still sell Gucci, but they also but that's just because that's what the Americans wear.
Yeah, dude.
What
I
do you
mean,
what do you
those
think
those.
about other cultures kind of like adopting American styles?
I mean, it's awesome. It's like look at a spread. It's kind of like those people that are like look at like it's almost like a proud father moment. It's like look at how much America's gone. Like I say that because like there's like if for instance like they say like a lot of people are related to like Abraham from the Bible or like that one Chinese guy, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but like he had tons of wives, and so there's like every like 1 in 4 people is related directly to this Chinese guy from like way back when. You may know who I'm talking about. I don't remember exactly, but like it's kind of the same way with our culture. Is like the spreading is kind of like culture spreading.
Okay.
But I mean, like
Wait,
honestly, the thing about culture is
gene
what
spreading.
I
All
mean,
right.
I spread. I mean,
I,
my
I
genes go to my children.
I understand the simile. We're good.
Yeah,
Um,
but the people who started the genes aren't going to see them spread. That
that's
Chinese guy I was talking about didn't obviously he's dead for thousands of years.
right.
Abraham has been dead for thousands of years, even though tons of people are related to him. He's got a whole country pretty much that is related to him. He's been dead for thousands of years. He doesn't get to see it. You know,
All right. So you think about legacy often then. What do you think yours will be?
my what? My
Your legacy.
my legacy. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't really obsess about my legacy. Obviously, I want to be known as like a good guy.
Well, you obviously see other people's and you can differentiate between a good one and a bad one. And it's obviously
I mean,
something
like,
to pay attention to in other people. And
I wouldn't want to leave a legacy of like, wow, that guy was really rich, or he had like a lot of popularity, or he had a lot of YouTube popularity or whatever. I don't want popularity. I want to be like, oh wow, that guy was like a good father or family man. Because at the end of the day, that's the stuff that matters. It's not, oh, I left my kids $1 billion. It's, oh, like I was there for my kids.
so I
I don't
love
have kids, by the way. Just I'm
it.
not just
You're
saying family
ready,
stuff
bro.
because I have
Sounds
kids.
like you're ready. Um,
Yeah, I'm not married.
so I was talking with my girlfriend the other day, and
Hmm.
she talks, and I know personally somebody who's, I know one of my friend's friend. Yeah, that makes sense. Has a kid, and one of my girlfriend's friends is getting married,
Hmm.
and so it's like I don't know. I feel like it is kind of less than maybe what I think our parents saw growing up.
We're getting married now versus then.
Like I only know two people, and I saw a pregnant girl in one of my classes when I was a freshman,
At
and
KU?
no, in high school.
At East?
No, bro, I didn't go to East.
Oh, that's right, because you were in like New York.
No, I was in Texas.
Okay, I'm not trying to expose you, but yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's all good.
I
It's impossible to track, G.
was gonna say I don't remember who was pregnant at East when we were freshmen. I would have remembered that,
You know,
but
there was a
because
girl.
usually those people went to Horizons.
Hmm.
Usually those people went to Horizons. They had a full daycare set up for those people.
I went to the Horizons of my school district because that's where I lived.
Ew. See, Horizons in our school district is very close to another school. I won't say which, but
Right.
you know.
Um,
But yeah,
don't often think about your life. So you do strike me as a family man. So talk about that a little bit. Your answers.
about being a family
Trump's
man.
America or Biden's America? Which one would you rather raise a family or start a family? We'll say because that would be the
The more applicable one. Which one is better? Is that what you're asking?
yeah. Which one do you think
Definitely.
you'd rather?
Okay, well, this is a pretty cut and dry one. Definitely Trump's America for the sake of the stock market, because once I have a kid, I'm gonna want to start saving for college and being having an interest in finance. I know that the stock market is actually like they're modeling what's going to happen if Biden wins, and I'm predicting that if Biden wins, stock market's going to plunge. And so what I'm saying is, I would prefer to have Trump's America for my kids. That way, my money grows bigger, faster for my kids in the stock market. And the thing about the stock market is, yeah, you may say, oh, it's only for the rich people, but your 401k is in there. Whether you're working, if you have a 401k, it's in the stock market 9 times out of 10. So while you may say, oh, the stock market doesn't matter, it's just for rich people, it's a big indicator of how the whole economy is doing. And there's a good chance that no matter what your job is, whether you're making 50 grand or 500 grand a year or 5 million a year, you have some ties to the stock market, even if you don't know personally. Like you just may not realize. Because that's what a 401k is usually just a market fund,
Right.
like a mutual fund. So Trump's America is significantly better in relation to how the stocks are going to be doing. So I'm going to be a whole lot more likely to, do well in a country like that and not have to have as risky of a portfolio to get the same returns.
So you think that purely because of the stock market, you don't consider other factors.
Well, finance is a huge deal for me, and not only that, like I don't know, I feel like when Biden gets if he were to win, I feel like he would step out within the week, and it would be Kamala Harris running the show. Because I mean, like, he just doesn't seem mentally there. Like I had a great aunt who had dementia, and it's kind of the same stuff. They like my great aunt would be
That's
like,
how I would react during the debate. His debate performance, I think, was really strong for what happened. Like what I expected and what
mm-hmm.
happened, I absolutely hated Trump's performance. And I could empathize with Biden calling him a clown. I'd be like, this guy's behaving like a 5-year old. Like,
Yeah, not good, not good. But at the same time, Biden's not fit to be making those kind of decisions. I mean, you saw what happened to Obama. Like he went in there, he looked young. He came out, he looked like he was 20 years older, and he'd have been in there for 8 years. And like that's,
would you have voted for John McCain if you were old enough to vote for John McCain when he ran for president?
I mean, he's pretty old too, but it depends on their fitness. I remember when John McCain ran. I think it was John McCain against Hillary, and then I think it was Obama, and Obama won out, obviously.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I would have voted for John McCain. He was a great politician, even when he died. Like pretty much everyone that remembered him or everything that was said about him was positive. No one was like, "Oh, John McCain was on Epstein's island." Like that didn't. I don't think that came out. I don't think it happened.
I don't think it was reported on either.
What'd you say?
I said I don't think it was reported on either.
Yeah, if he was, it wasn't reported on. I mean, that'd be kind of bad to report on a dead guy being on Epstein's island. Like, what do you have to gain? But I
Um,
mean, someone reported on alleged sexual assault with Kobe after he died, and she got accosted, but the network she was on actually protected her, which was really valiant of them because, I mean, like, it's news, and like, if you're gonna totally idolize someone, like, you should know them in the full light. Like kind of like when XXX died, like everyone was like,
yeah,
"Oh, he was so awesome."
Well, X was a
But I
piece of
read some of the stuff. What?
X was a piece of shit.
Dude, the stuff he said to his girlfriend or whatever was horrible.
Not even just the stuff he said, the stuff he beat the shit out of her while she was pregnant.
Dude, that's almost a murder.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Or she might not have been pregnant. I'm not sure. I would take back the second claim. I do
Regardless,
not
you
take
shouldn't
back
hit a
the
girl.
first claim. X is a piece of shit, and anybody who disagrees can come on my show and tell me that, and it can be content. So, if you want to
The
come at
content.
me,
Yeah.
um,
Send you an email or something, right?
yeah, send me an email, I guess.
Drop it in the comment section.
Yeah, just put a Zoom link in the comment section.
It'd be funny. Some new way people comment. They're like,
Uh,
drop a Zoom link.
Live reaction party on Zoom. That'd be funny. All right, so you spend a lot of time in the chair. Have you taken up any hobbies like video games?
Yeah, I play video games right now. I've always been I played video games like intermittently all pretty much all my life. I try not to play video games that much. It's not my favorite hobby. I've got tons of hobbies, but like it's like the bottom rung. Like I would always prefer like if I've got a friend to hang out with or I can play games, I'm gonna hang out with that friend. If I've got like, like I could do something car related instead of playing video games, I'll probably do something car related. Like, but if it's like I don't want to spend any money, I'm tired, and I just kind of want to entertain myself for an hour or two, I'll hop on a video game.
So what
So
kind of games you play during COVID?
during COVID, played some Warzone. Not much though.
When it was
I played
popular or like recently?
like recently or just overall. What are you talking about?
Because I know it was like popping for a long time. It was like the new Fortnite, and it was funny. The
Oh,
Gulag
it's good. It's great.
memes.
It's a great game.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
It's a good thing. It's just you can't play it without Xbox Live, and that's pretty gay.
See, I've got a PC, so I don't have to buy any of that.
Oh,
I don't pay any live subscriptions. Right now, I'm playing some Rainbow. I got my buddy bought me No Man's Sky. That's actually really fun.
mhm.
It was super overhyped when it came out, but now it's actually decent. The new Cyberpunk's coming out. I'm looking forward to that. Um, play Warzone, like I said. I play Forza Horizons 4. That's the most recent one that's came out. I played that a lot. Once again, it's an Xbox game, but I can play it on my computer, and I get live through my computer, and I don't have to pay for it, which is awesome. I don't even take my Xbox out anymore. It's sitting under my bed right now, and it's been under there for the entirety of the time I've been at college. Um, I've been playing Halo a good amount because I've got it on PC and it's pretty fun. Um, but yeah, I don't play a ton of games. I've got a lot of stuff to do. If I've got a minute, I usually like study Chinese or read private equity books instead of playing video games. But sometimes my brain's just fried, so I can't. Just can't.
Right.
So I just play some video games.
Studying Chinese. All right, you brought it up. Let's talk about it. Chinese
Mm-hmm.
is like by like I was told in my Chinese classes when I was at KU,
Mm-hmm.
Chinese is in the hardest section of languages for an English native speaker to learn because the grammar rules are much more lenient. Um, the characters are drawings
Yeah,
and
they are.
they don't make words how we understand words are made,
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, but once you learn the basic characters, I find that it's just kind of stringing them together. You know?
Yeah, but you kind of have to be taught what the character like. You kind of have to be taught. You can't really sound them out. But I
Well, yeah,
guess,
sounding out is not a thing.
yeah,
That's why there's
like
pinyin and there is characters.
yeah. But you can't sound out characters, and so I mean, that's why English I feel is probably easier to learn. But
Mm. We have weird grammar, dude. Really weird grammar. That's one of the
Wait,
best things about Chinese
wait, yeah,
grammar.
that's
The
true.
grammar just doesn't exist.
Yeah,
There's no conjugations. It's sick.
and then
It's easier than Spanish in that regard.
right.
It's awesome. I honestly enjoy it. And I was at a career fair yesterday and the day before, and everyone's like, "Oh, Mandarin." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
So
I
it's
went
worth
to
going.
one of those. I went to a career fair when I was a freshman at KU. I went to like the accounting fair or whatever, and literally,
Accounting fair.
literally, like fucking 5 booths were like, "Oh, you're a freshman." I was in the business school.
They're like, "What?"
They're like, "Oh, you're a
You cut out,
freshman.
but they were like, "What now?"
You're like a freshman."
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
just
People were freaking out. I went freshman year
disrespected
too.
me. Like they wouldn't even take my email, bro. It was just I think I had one lady who didn't give me their email, and I didn't
Yeah,
like that.
see, that didn't happen to me. I didn't have that, but people would be like, "Oh, you're a freshman, wow," but like they would still talk to me, and like I'd have conversations with people about stuff. Um, I'd always joke around with the finance guys about my Robinhood portfolio, um, which was fun. But right now, I've talked to a couple of companies, and I'm coming up with the credit. I did my resume and my cover letter today, which was fun. But
Hmm.
like, it's just a struggle. I don't really want to get an internship, but like real life beckons. I gotta
Yeah,
start. Gotta start. So
yeah, you gotta get a job at some point.
yeah, mom and dad aren't gonna pay the bill forever,
Yeah,
sadly.
exactly. I
Yeah,
remember you
but
used to have a funny philosophy on life.
which
Um,
was
you were gonna be a housewife, but
did I say that?
you basically you're gonna be like a house dad. That's what you
Why
said.
did
You
I
said,
say this,
bro,
dude?
you said you were gonna mooch off your girlfriend forever. Because her family was
Not
like
me anymore.
crazy rich. What?
Oh, they weren't though, but they were wealthy, but they weren't crazy rich. But I wasn't like totally gonna do that. But
You were
now
like,
I'm like,
dude, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home dad.
yeah, no, no, I couldn't. I'd actually die. I'd go insane.
Hmm.
Like coronavirus, but my real life,
I don't
cooking
know.
and cleaning.
I think being a stay-at-home dad could be fun. Like you just gotta fuck around with the kids. I was thinking, I was thinking that the more like time that, because I want to be fluent in Spanish and Mandarin by the time I'm done with school.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So um, I'm definitely going to want to teach my kid Mandarin, and then the schools can teach them Spanish because
Could teach them all three.
the schools are better at teaching. Uh, that's like really hard, and it also kind of alienates the kid from social activities because that's time they have to spend with me learning, and then like they would
True.
have to speak English to their mother and Chinese to me. And so it's like they're already learning 2 languages at the same time. I'm not going to switch it up on them and like make them think that
Yeah.
it's like a mixture of languages with me. There would have to be a third person coming in and like doing Spanish.
Spanish, Chinese
Yeah.
Spanish. Yeah, no. Um, I have a buddy who he was going to take Chinese with me because his parents are first generation from China. So he'll just start talking Chinese to his parents on the phone, which is insane. But he can't read it or write it because he doesn't know characters. But it's insane. It's absolutely awesome now.
That's weird that the parents didn't like teach him how to write in their language. They must not have thought it was necessary.
I don't know. He got a full ride, so he's a pretty smart guy.
Pretty smart guy. Where does do you mind disclosing his school, or is it like a good,
Yeah,
we'll say Ivy, or is it like a state school?
Fresco.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah,
Arkansas.
he's my gym buddy who usually dips out on me.
Who usually
I want
dips
to start
out on
going
you.
too hard.
It's kind of a bummer. Yeah,
He
Adam.
usually prefers. playing some video games or just goofing off, and I'm like, all right, dude,
Right.
I'm gonna go get a pump. So yeah, but he got a full ride. He's really smart. Pretty sure he did way better than me on the standardized tests and whatever.
Right.
Like that matters.
No.
But yeah.
They say EQ matters more than IQ.
Say what now matters more?
They say that EQ matters more than IQ.
Yeah, EQ.
Your emotional quotient, how you deal with different things as they come. Like your basically like IQ is like your problem solving, and then EQ is like what choice you make, because you can problem solve in multiple ways, especially if you have a high IQ. If you have a high EQ, then you're going to choose the most humane and popular way to like, or like the way that most aligns with your morals.
Yeah, ethically sound way.
Right.
Yeah, ethics are important. Anyways, what's up?
I think we're about out of time here. I want to thank you for coming on. It's been good. Before we end, I usually ask, what's something fun you got going on soon? What's going on in your life? School? That's your fun?
So fun.
Come on, G.
I'm thinking about getting
bro. All right.
Thinking about getting a project car. But...
Let me tell you. First person. You know what they said they were doing?
Their girlfriend or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Remember. You know what the second person said?
I don't remember.
Their girlfriend.
Well, I am single, and I want to be single because I don't have time for a girlfriend. So.
All right. So we'll say. Well, then what is it?
I'm trying to buy a project car.
You're trying to buy a project car. Okay.
I want to go racing.
All right. Go racing.
That's my thing. Yep.
All right.
Anyways, thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.